Hey, what's up, gang? This is part 2 of a 2-part video series on my bathroom renovation. This is our guest bathroom. So as the name implies, if you haven't already watched part 1, I'll link the first video in the video description below. That is me updating the bathroom floor, the vanity, and some other things. And the second video here is for the shower behind me. So I updated all the tile in the shower, the hardware, faucets, all that stuff. So this video is going to be a little bit shorter, hopefully just to the point. But stay tuned.
I start by emptying out the shower. I remove the plastic cover that gives me access to the Phillips head that holds the handle in place. Next, I start busting out tile and pulling out the backer board. I tried to do this as careful as possible, but it's just impossible to prevent tile from falling down. I did have a spot where I damaged the porcelain tub that I had to patch up. If you can, a piece of plywood over the tub really can help with damage. On the shower valve, there's an inlet for cold water, hot water, a fitting that will go up to the shower head, and a fitting that goes down to the tub spigot. I do a dry fit of all my plumbing so that I can see how this will lay out and make sure I have the right clearances to match the existing pipes. Once I'm happy with how everything's lining up, I cut out the existing valve. I'm going to solder all the pieces together around the valve in one shot in my garage. I deburr the inside of all the fittings and pipes and use a brush to get a clean fitting. I use a little bit of flux on all the fittings and pipes. Here's a trick to know how much solder to use. Bend a little piece of solder the same diameter of the pipe. This should be roughly how much solder you should put into each fitting. From here, I just make my way around all the fittings and solder the pieces together. I do this all in one shot because everything's already heated up and it makes it easier just to solder all the joints while everything is warm. Now that it's back in the wall cavity, I fasten the 90 where the shower head will come out to a 2x4 in between the studs. Because I already soldered all my other fittings, I only have 2 joints that I need to solder around all the wood of the wall. I know that the pipe needs to stick out about 4 inches for the tub faucet, so I leave about 6 inches just to be able to cut this off later. This way I don't have to worry too much about getting it exactly right until I have the finished wall in place. I then turn the water back on and flush out all the fittings, make sure I don't have any leaks. I'm using a cement board backer with a waterproofing membrane, so I score the cement board and snap it in half. The porcelain tub has a little flared edge that goes up, so I leave just a little bit of space under the cement board to give water a little bit of space to drain back down into the tub if anything gets back there. I use Hardy backer screws about every 6 inches per the manufacturer's recommendation. Where the cement board and the drywall meet on this wall is in between 2 studs. So I put in a 1x4 backer to give me something to screw both the drywall and the cement board together. It'll give me a sturdy anchor point for the 2 sheets so that there isn't any flex and cracking. I use an alkali resistant mesh tape to tape all the joints. I use a thin layer of thin set to embed this into the wall. I also cover up all the screw heads. It'll be much easier to finish the drywall now before I put up the tile, so I smooth my drywall mud and sand it. The finishing touches are to apply a wall texture. It's an orange peel texture in a can, and this matches pretty good with what's already on the wall. Once that's dry, I add the finishing coat of paint. I make sure I go far enough into the cement board that the tile will hide this, but I don't want to go too far in where it's going to be exposed to water. I roll on MyPay Aqua Defense. This usually needs to go on in 2 or 3 coats to get it thick enough to what the manufacturer recommends. I use my laser level to find the lowest part of the tub. All 4 corners of the tub are never going to be exactly the same height. I then set the laser level to the lowest level that will allow me to put 1 complete tile in that spot. From there, I just need to shave a little bit off all the other tiles. That way I don't have some weird gap at the bottom of any of them. This will mean that the second row of tile will have a completely level reference all the way around the shower. I typically like to score the tile with the tile saw and then do my final pass. This seems to just do a little cleaner pass on my saw. Here's the method I like to use to notch out around pipes or any other round objects. I apply my layer of thin set and then I trowel it all in the same direction. The vertical line of my laser here is in the dead center of the shower. This is going to be my reference mark for my grout lines all the way up the shower, and it'll make sure that I have even cuts on both sides of the wall. On the left and right side of the shower, I'm using this metal band. This just gives it a nice clean edge on the unfinished side or the cut side of the tile. When I'm working by myself, I like to make as many of my cuts as possible without mixing mud. So from here I have enough rows that I feel confident that I can just mark out the rest of my cuts on the wall. I use a numbering system just so that I can keep track of what tile is supposed to go in which place. It's a little extra effort up front to do this, but I think it's way better than having to run up and down the stairs to go back to the tile saw after I already have mud mixed. I put the last couple pieces of tile on the sides of the tub here. You have to make sure that you work from the top down so that your cut tile is on the very bottom. It'll look really weird, and I've made the mistake where I start with a full tile at the bottom and then leave a little tiny sliver at the top and then have to pull it out and start over. I mix my grout with a grout enhancer, and this just helps with the life of the grout and prevents staining. From here, it's just working the grout into all the grooves, allowing it to dry and haze over a bit and wipe it away. This grout went on a lot darker as it was wet, and it got a little bit lighter as it dried. I used a color matching sealant to do all the corners. This is just going to be better for cracks and make sure that it stays waterproof. I spray it with a little bit of water and round it over in the corner with my hand. This is pretty messy and wasn't super pleased and had a lot of cleanup to do, so I took the extra effort here around the tub to use some painter's tape. This gave me a lot cleaner line. I now can cut the spout to the final length now that I have my finished wall. I need to solder one last piece here with a threaded fitting onto the end of this pipe. I apply a little bit of thread tape to the shower head and the spout here. I hate this part. Once you twist it around and it's getting tight, you have to make a decision on whether or not you're going to take it one more time and twist it and get it all the way around again, or potentially over tighten it and have to back it up. I use a white trim caulking to clean up the transition into the drywall. I trim the metal edge bands to the final height to match the edge of the tile.
So I got an interesting question on part one of this bathroom renovation of how much do I think I've spent on the cost. And I think that's a really good question. That's something that I like to talk about. And I haven't decided if I'm really going to put everything on here in terms of finances, but I'll give it a stab. On this project, I had some leftover materials like the Ditra. That's a pretty pricey item. The vanity I actually got at Lowe's on the clearance section for like 99 bucks. I almost think it was a mistake that they had it priced down that much because there was really nothing wrong with it. So to completely redo this bathroom, again, counting some of the materials that I already had on hand, it was short of $2,000. So again, tile's the most expensive thing in this job. Some of the odds and ends, but I think that's a pretty safe number. It was under 2,000 bucks. I didn't have to put a new tub in, anything like that. And if that's something that you're interested in hearing a little bit more of in these videos, on the cost of things, the finances, let me know in the comments below, because I want to make this content valuable for people. And if that's part of something that you think would be valuable, let me know. Thanks for sticking it through. And if you made it this far and you think I earned it, I would appreciate a like and subscribe. It does help me out quite a bit if I can get some subscribers that are actually wanting to view my content. And I do have quite a few other projects already lined up. So again, follow, like, subscribe, all that to be notified when new videos come out. See you next time.